Wednesday, December 27th, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Markets, of course, are going to be fairly quiet and thin until the beginning of the year, next week. But precious metals have been showing signs of strength. And I'm not saying gold, silver, and the mining stocks are going to take off right away. But from what I've looked at, the technical picture, and when I worked in the city, in the financial sector for over 20 years, I used to use a lot of technical analysis and fundamental as well. I think both complement each other and give you more options and give you more of a balanced view. And I'm seeing things here that haven't happened, for example, in gold for 5 years. So let's dive into it and look at the charts that I think are showing some signs that we're actually at the right at the beginning of a next leg of a bull market in the precious metals. And let's start with gold. And I want to show you first a long-term chart of gold, weekly, going back to 2007. And what I have here, the colored lines, the black line is the 50-week moving average, the yellow is the 100-week, and the green is the 200-week moving average. And you can see during that bull market that started in 2001 or so, or 2000, those moving averages, the black was always above the yellow and the yellow above the green, 50, 100, 200. And the first time that it crossed, the last time that we had the 50-week above the 100 and the 100 above the 200 was February 2013. So almost 5 years. And ever since, the 200-week, as you can see, most of the time has been above all the other ones, but now it's starting to change. And I noticed that in September this year, the old relationship of green, yellow, and black from the bottom up, or 50, 100, 200, reinstated itself. You can't see it very clearly here, but I will show you another chart. So here's the zoomed in short-term weekly chart, and you can see now that the 200 is below the other lines, the green line, which is what you need to see in a bull market. And the other thing you need to see is the 50-day above the 100-day, the 50-week above the 100-week, which we got right now. You see the black line is just above the orange line. That had happened also in the beginning of September when the green got below the yellow and the black was above all the other two. But then we had a correction, quite a big correction since then. But now, again, for the first time since the beginning of September, and also for the first time since February 2013, that relationship has been reinstated. You can also see we've broken a little like a flag or a falling pennant or wedge formation there on the upside. So that looks pretty good. Let's have a look at silver, what silver's done. The long-term chart of silver, going back to like 2005, you can see that that relationship of the moving average was broken slightly in 2009, but quickly, silver quickly picked up again, and we had the 50-week above the 100-week and above the 200-week, and the first time that relationship was negated was in the middle of 2012, and we've had this correction bear market since then. As you can see though, the moving average averages are getting very close together there in silver, and I'll show you. I'll zoom it in for you to see what is happening now to the silver moving averages. So you can see I zoomed in here on a weekly chart of silver, and I've got this little box where it shows where the moving averages are this week. The 50-week moving average, the black one is at 1708. The 200-week is at 1708.6, so almost identical. We, of course, need the 50-week to get above the 200-week, so that's very close to getting above. And the 100-week is well above both. But if silver picks up quite sharply here, we could see the 50-week get comfortably above the 200-week and then go and catch up with the 100-week. So that's looking pretty good as well. And the fact that they're all really close means that we could see a sudden shift and change in the relationship if the market starts going up quite sharply. So now I want to have a look at the mining sector, and I'll bring up a long-term chart of the XAU Gold Bugs Index from 2002. And you see from 2002 to 2008, that relationship of the 50-week above the 100-week, above the 200-week, so black, orange, green, held up quite well. And then we had the big correction in 2008 when gold went from 1,030 to around 680, and the HUY corrected quite sharply. That relationship kind of broke down, and then it reinstated itself again from around the end of 2010, and then the HUY topped again just before the end of 2012. And you can see that that relationship has been negated since then. So we had, like in 2016, a good rally in the HUY, but that relationship was still, not there. The one that says that the 50-week must be above the 100-week and the 200-week moving average. That was not there. So let's have a look. Let's zoom in. So here's the zoomed in image of the gold bugs. As you can see, the 200-week moving average, the green average, now is below all the other ones. The 50-week is still below the 100-week, but very close. So we're actually getting the same kind of move here, and it's looking pretty good. It's early days, of course. HUY had broken through like the 180, made a new low, and now has come back up, and it's even above the 200-week moving average. So I know a lot of people that have invested in gold or been in gold and following gold for the last few years have been very frustrated. I made a video about 6 days ago about precious metals. Are they ready for liftoff? Some people, made comments, and I don't mind if you make comments saying, oh no, it's not ready for liftoff. It will never lift off again. I think sentiment is very, very depressed, but that's what being a contrarian is all about, that you swim against the tide. And right now, I think the gold sector, precious metal sector, especially compared to the stock market and especially cryptocurrencies, is very much disliked and out of fashion. So that's why I think we could be setting up for a big move higher in precious metals. And it could be just around the corner. Does it mean it's going to happen overnight? No, it's going to start. It's starting. It could accelerate. You never know with markets. It could, considering that I personally think central banks have kind of tried to keep the price of precious metals down in these last 4 years or so, since they've really pumped up the printing presses. They had to do that in order to be able to print money out of thin air, because if you have gold, gold is a barometer of monetary rectitude by central banks, because it's the anti-fiat. So if you have gold going up while they're doing their schemes of QE and Operation Twist, forward guidance, if you have gold and silver going up, it totally discredits them. But I think the markets, investors, and the general public are starting to realize that their schemes of since 2008, the only thing that it did was bail out the big banks and indebt the general public, and it hasn't really helped the economy. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later.